All right, let's dive deep into intuition today.
Ooh, interesting.
We're looking at Chapter 14, Intuition, Truth Detection, and more.
Okay.
From the book, A Practical EmPath, Rewire Your Mind, by Scott Howard Swain.
Yes.
Have you ever just had like a gut feeling about someone?
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, I don't know about this person.
Right.
And then it turns out you were right.
Yeah.
That's intuition, right?
Absolutely.
But Swain says we can train that.
Interesting.
And his secret weapon is empathy.
Now, that's not what you typically hear when you're thinking about intuition. It's all about gut feelings and, just these sort of mystical hunches. But Swain breaks it down and says it's a practical, learnable skill.
Okay.
And it's all through what he calls his Practical EmPath Practice, or PP.
PPP. Okay, so what is that?
It's all about rewiring your mind to become more empathetic.
Okay.
And he breaks it down into 3 key steps: observation,
Okay.
feeling, and understanding the values and needs that are driving someone's behavior.
So observation, I mean, that's kind of obvious.
You think?
You would think. But he has a very specific way that he talks about observation.
Right.
He talks about observing without evaluation.
Yes.
Like, what does that even mean?
So it's noticing these subtle cues that people are giving off, like someone avoiding eye contact
Okay.
or fidgeting during a conversation without immediately jumping to conclusions.
Okay.
So instead of thinking, oh, they're avoiding eye contact because they're lying, you just notice it
Right.
and let it inform your understanding of the person.
So you're separating the what from the why.
Exactly.
You're just noticing what's happening without assigning a judgment to it.
Exactly.
I like that. So that's observation. And then what about understanding feelings? So
Swain suggests tuning into both your own feeling and the feelings of the other person.
Okay.
This is where things get really interesting.
All right.
He believes that our brains are constantly gathering and processing information during these interactions, like body language, tone of voice, everything. Right. And the more we practice empathy and understanding people, the more data points we're giving our brain to work with.
So you're basically feeding your intuition.
Exactly.
With more information.
Yes.
To be able to then make a more accurate assessment.
Precisely.
That makes a lot of sense.
And he gives some really interesting contrasting conversation examples in the book to kind of illustrate this.
Okay.
So in one example, the person says to their partner, "How was your day?"
Yeah.
And the partner says, "It sucked."
Right.
But in another example, the person really digs deeper and they ask about specific feelings. They acknowledge their partner's need for autonomy, and they uncover this whole story about a really frustrating encounter with like a micromanaging boss.
Wow.
So just by being more empathetic and asking the right questions, they gain so much more insight into what was really going on.
I can see how powerful this is.
Absolutely.
Like, I'm starting to rethink how I approach conversations.
Yeah.
But, there is a part of me that's thinking like, do I really have time for these deep, empathetic conversations all the time?
Well, it's true. It does take more effort up front.
Yeah.
But think of it as an investment.
Okay.
The depth of understanding that you build with people through those conversations will actually save you time and energy in the long run.
Well, that's a great point.
Because future conversations will be much more efficient.
Right, because you already have this foundation of shared understanding.
Exactly.
And wouldn't you agree that there's also like a certain satisfaction
Oh, absolutely.
in really getting to know someone?
Yes.
Understanding what makes them tick?
Yeah.
But, I mean, I guess Swain does say, kind of gives a bit of a warning here.
He does.
That it's not always fun
to
realize that people might be dishonest.
Yeah, it can be kind of disillusioning.
Right. Sometimes ignorance is bliss.
It can be tough, but Swain emphasizes the importance of self-empathy and understanding in those situations.
So how do we deal with that?
Okay.
Like when we do realize that someone's not being totally straight with us,
Right.
what do we do?
Well, he talks about practicing empathy for both yourself, acknowledging the frustration of being misled,
Right.
but also practicing empathy for the person who's being dishonest.
Okay.
Because maybe they're afraid of disappointing you, or maybe they value comfort over honesty in that moment.
Right.
It's not about condoning dishonesty,
Right.
but trying to understand the motivations behind it.
Yeah, like the why.
Exactly.
Right.
It all comes back to the why, and recognizing that, everyone makes choices based on their values and needs in any given moment, including ourselves. And sometimes those choices don't align with, our ideal of honesty.
But, something else that I was thinking about as we've been talking about this.
Okay.
He also talks about this debate around open-ended questions.
Yes.
Versus guessing feelings.
Yeah.
Because isn't asking an open-ended question like, how do you feel?
Right.
Isn't that supposed to be the most empathetic approach?
Yeah, that's what we're often taught, right?
Right.
But Swain actually challenges that assumption.
Oh, really?
He suggests that open-ended questions, while well-intentioned, can sometimes lead to self-evaluation and even dishonesty.
Wait, really?
I know it sounds kind of counterintuitive.
How can asking someone how they feel lead to dishonesty?
Well, think about it.
Okay.
How often do you respond to, "How are you?"
Yeah.
with a genuine, heartfelt outpouring of your emotional state?
Yeah, pretty much never.
Right, exactly.
It's always just fine?
It's fine or good.
Yeah.
And those are evaluations,
Right.
not feelings.
Right.
And Swain suggests that by guessing someone's feelings, we're actually giving them an out.
Okay.
To express something that they might be hesitant to share otherwise. It's like we're saying, "Hey, I see you, I get it." Which can make them feel safer and more understood.
So instead of putting them on the spot with this broad question,
Yeah, exactly.
you're offering a very specific feeling
Yes.
that they can either confirm or deny.
Precisely.
And in doing so, you might actually be prompting a more honest and vulnerable response.
Exactly.
Wow. I'm seeing how this all connects back to building intuition.
It is. It's all connected.
Yeah.
It's like we're practicing our empathy muscles and fine-tuning our ability to really read between the lines.
Right.
Because by guessing feelings, we're not only showing empathy, but we're also getting more data points to work with, which ultimately strengthens our intuition.
It's like having a secret decoder ring.
I love that analogy for human emotions.
For human emotions?
Yeah.
But I've got to admit, I'm a little nervous to actually try this out in real life.
Sure.
Like, what if I guess wrong?
Well, that's a valid concern. But remember, it's not about being right or wrong.
Okay.
It's about showing genuine curiosity and a willingness to understand.
Okay.
And you know what? The best way to learn is by doing.
Okay.
And Swain actually includes some role-playing scenarios in the book to kind of help us practice these concepts.
Let's do it.
Right, game on.
I'm always up for a little improv.
Okay, so for our first scenario, let's imagine that you are feeling doubtful about a colleague's honesty.
Right.
And I will be the colleague.
Okay.
And you can use empathetic guessing to see if you can uncover what's really going on.
I'm ready.
Okay, so picture this. We're both working on a big project. Deadline's fast approaching.
Okay.
You notice that I've been a bit withdrawn, haven't been contributing as much as usual.
Okay.
You decide to check in with me.
Okay, got it.
All right.
Hey, I noticed you've been a little quiet lately. Is everything all right? You seem kind of stressed. Is it the project deadline?
Yeah, everything's fine. Just a lot going on.
I hear you. Deadlines can be tough. I'm sensing you might be feeling a little overwhelmed, maybe even a little resentful that you're carrying more of the weight than you expected.
Well, yeah, there is that.
Yeah, it's completely understandable to feel that way. You're always so dedicated, and you go above and beyond. And it's important to acknowledge when it feels like too much.
Actually, yeah, that's kind of it, I do feel like I'm putting in a lot of effort and it's not really being noticed or appreciated.
There it is.
You got it.
So by guessing the feeling of being unappreciated, I was able to actually create a space for my colleague to open up and share what was really bothering them.
You created a safe,
High five.
A safe and non-judgmental environment by acknowledging a possible feeling.
Yeah.
That's the power of empathetic guessing.
Okay, let's do round 2.
Ready for round 2?
Yeah, let's switch roles this time.
Okay, you be the empathetic manager.
Okay.
I'm going to be the one who is feeling a little skeptical. Okay, so I'm feeling a bit in the dark lately about some decisions that are being made that directly impact my team. And I'm not sure if I'm getting the full picture.
I understand. Transparency is really important to you.
Yeah.
And you're not feeling like you're getting enough of it right now.
Right.
And you really value being in the loop, especially when it comes to decisions that affect your team. Am I getting that right?
Exactly. It's important for me to feel like I'm a part of the process and that I can provide input.
I hear you. You want to feel included and informed.
Yes.
So you can effectively lead your team and contribute your best work.
That's it. Wow, you really nailed it. Just acknowledging those feelings makes a huge difference.
And that's the key, right?
Yes.
By tuning in and trying to understand your perspective, I was able to build trust.
Absolutely.
And open up a dialogue.
So what do you think, listener? Have you ever been in a situation where you felt someone wasn't being completely honest? How did you react? What if you tried using empathetic guessing instead?
It's amazing how just like a simple shift in our approach to conversations.
It really is.
Can have such a profound impact.
It's all about tuning in to those subtle cues, guessing those deeper feelings, and remembering to observe without evaluation. Yeah, it really is remarkable how much more you can uncover when you come at conversations with curiosity and a genuine desire to understand.
It is. And it's like Swain says in the book, Empathy is the key to unlocking this whole new level of understanding and connection
Oh, for sure.
with the people around us.
Absolutely.
And the best part is, it's a skill that we can all develop with practice.
Definitely. And if you're hungry for more practical empathy wisdom, we highly recommend checking out the rest of Scott Howard Swain's book, A Practical EmPath, Rewire Your Mind.
Yeah, it's packed with insights and techniques.
It is.
For navigating all sorts of interpersonal situations.
It's like having a user manual
Yes.
for human connection.
A user manual for human connection. I love that.
Mm-hmm.
So keep diving deep, dear listeners, and until next time, stay curious.